got everyone. So hello, it is Wednesday. It's time to play Dungeons and Dragons: A Space Odyssey.
Whoa.
I did, like I said, I hadn't caught up on today's chat, but I read everything else yesterday or the day before. The only thing I'm really kind of confused about is it seems that Lepus has some kind of situation going on currently that I can't really discern what the source of it is.
Neither could we.
So what are maybe we'll just deal with it in game then. But you've been having some episodes on the ship Lepus.
Yeah, I just sort of tried to portray like a lot of shit has happened,
Oh, okay.
and his mind's perspective, and he's just having. Do you remember when Smiley died and he went kind of crazy?
Yeah.
This is kind of like his psyche kind of broke. So this is like a sense where like, oh, his psyche kind of broke. His mind was damaged. That's sort of what I was trying to portray.
Oh, okay. It's not like related to anything in particular.
Well, it's kind of like Jin's mind tampering was like the last straw on the camel's back, if that makes sense.
I guess that's one of the other questions I had. You failed voluntarily all your saving throws during that encounter, right?
Yeah.
What is it about the modify memory that's because if the spell just succeeds, you shouldn't really have any knowledge of something like that happening to you. What is the manifestation of the sort of disconnect of your neurons? That's like, do you feel like there's something off about your memory, or is it just all kind of a collective of the traumatic experiences that you've undertaken since Avernus that are sort of bubbling to the surface now?
I guess that second answer.
Okay. And I did notice that there was a modify memory on Lilith. Did that one succeed as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one was a little bit less thorough.
Yep.
Well, you guys
Dago did not.
Not as strong.
specify,
okay. Yeah, I'm okay with you guys having those types of interaction in fiction as long as it doesn't necessarily try to move the story forward at all. You kind of living in the present moment, and right now you guys are barreling through astral space, and so you've got a few days to have all those kinds of interactions with downtime. I would just say that in tense situations or in times where you're going to try to affect each other's characters with magic or other means, that you do so with the explicit permission of whoever you're interacting with first, and make sure that everyone's okay with some manipulation of their character before the interactions take place.
had written consent from both people before doing this.
Okay, very good.
Made sure of that.
Just making sure, because when I was reading through, I was like, "This is on the edge. I'm going to have to address this." But then I asked Lep, and he said that you guys had talked about it. So I'm just kind of iterating that, vocally. But good job. Well, you guys have now been barreling through astral space, as I said, for a few days. I try to stay out of the RP chat. I guess I could have found my way in with like Illustrial or Tasha, but and maybe in the future, if you guys are traveling with an NPC, maybe I'll pop in there. But I try to let you guys just have your fun there and stay out of it. But it has been a few days, and I know you guys have been making use of the amenities of Tasha's flying fortress here, and having some interactions with each other. Is there anything like just in person that you guys would like to kind of sew up any loose ends with each other before we move forward?
I do have one thing.
Sure.
So we've been talking, me and Bolt have been talking about this prank war thing. I think Lilith's gonna start it off. So when Jin is trancing, she is going to send Maggie on a little excursion to Jin's room, and she's gonna give him her I don't know, like temporary ink, and then have Maggie draw on Jin's mask like like Jigglypuff.
She gets to the door and needs to make a wisdom saving throw
Ooh,
from the glyph
okay.
of warding, triggering polymorph.
All right.
By the way, like I don't know, it's hard to say. You know, Lustriel and Tasha have been moving about the ship as you guys have been traveling, but and you're not sure how in tune to you guys' interactions they've been. But they've been available as you guys have been traveling if there's also anything you wanted to talk to them about. I don't know how amenable Tasha would be to stuff like that being cast around the ship. But I suppose if it doesn't do any interior damage, you might be able to get away with it.
Several of us were explicitly trying to avoid the two of them.
Yes.
So that's a nat 1. Maggie does not pass the glyph of warding.
Maggie is a for an hour.
Just hear Lilith go, "God damn it," and then just walks away.
What'd she turn into?
Sheep.
Sheep?
Specifically a lamb. She's a little lamb.
Is there anything else I should need to know that maybe I might have missed in kind of combing through the RP chat?
I added a bunch of spells to my character sheet from studying Tasha's library.
Yep. You would have been able to probably chunk a bunch in there.
Yeah. I know, I'm just trying to figure out what I prepared for the day.
You would have had access to pretty much everything but a wish spell. That page in all of Maggie's Tombs of Knowledge seems to have been removed after their failed attempt with creating a enhanced wish spell between the three mages.
14th level wizard couldn't have cast wish anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Can you not scribe higher level spells in your book though?
No. You need to. Pretty sure you need to cast it. Yeah, in order to scribe it.
All right, then that's easy enough then. That's something you would have noticed though, Jin. It's like she's got the full compendium, except there's one page in one of her spell books laying around that has that wish page torn out.
Curiouser and curiouser, as I say.
As you guys sort of enter the cosmology of, Eberron space, at some point, Illustrial and Tasha do call you all to the meeting chamber. as you guys have been spending time in their presence, they've sort of become a little less formal over the past few days after your first introduction with them. You know, Illustrial's now just kind of wearing a simple gown that's a little more fitted than her big flowing robes, and Tasha just kind of wanders around the ship most of the time in like a little fuzzy black bathrobe that goes down to about her knees. She walks around barefoot most of the time, and she's always got like a different kind of floppy witch's hat on. She's probably several times over the course of the last 2 days had some tea making contests with Lepus.
Who won?
Make a performance check, Lepus.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I think that's probably appropriate, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Such an
Better
icon.
question: did anyone try the tea?
Oh, I don't know if I said this, but Lep did make a new concoction of tea. And if you're okay with it, it would include a flask from Tasha's cauldron of everything.
Tasha, if you had asked, would have probably let you take a flask from her cauldron. You know, it was kind of like Iron Chef, so like twice a day there would be like a special ingredient that you both had to use, but then you could kind of do whatever, and the rest of you guys were corralled as judges, and every time Tasha's tea was just a little better than yours.
Yeah.
She would have allowed you to take a sample of her cauldron.
Awesome.
Once you are all gathered around, Illustrial sits down and she says, "Well, we're going to be arriving in Eberron soon. I'm sure that knowing a few of you, this being your home world, have your own business to attend to. But for the time being, there's more pressing matters at hand, and we are going to drop you all off the Mornings. We hope that you can all try and recover Mordenkainen, and perhaps find one of the pieces of the rod which Mordenkainen has been seeking out. As we said before, we lost communication with Mordenkainen after he entered the Mornlands, but we do know that he had planned a path of travel based on old maps of Seer before the continent was destroyed, or that part of the continent was destroyed. And judging by Mordenkainen's prudency and efficiency, we believe he probably will have made it to somewhere around here. She points to sort of like a southern central area of the map of Eberron that she's now kind of scrolled out over the table. The southern portion of the Glass Plateau, there is a place that is now known as Mount Ironrot. It's essentially a field of ruined colossi that were destroyed on the Day of Mourning. And Mordenkainen should have been working his way up from the southern end of the Mournlands to the northern. From the time he's been there, we believe he should be somewhere around Plateau of Glass. The Mount Ironrot is sort of a basin of mountain ranges at the southern tip of the plateau. and we believe this is the best place to start. And she sort of whips out a little map of what they believe the area would look like now after the destruction. She says, it's been several years now since the day of mourning, but we do know that the Mournlands are an incredibly dangerous place. Aberrations, demons, plunderers, pirates, hunters, survivors, warforged, to name a few of the dangers that lurk in the Mournlands. The less attention that you draw to yourselves, the better. I will leave the decision up to you, but for discretion, it might be best if you leave your ship behind and travel on foot. The less attention you attract to yourselves, the better. You could find some discreet place to park it, if you like, but flying through the Mournlands could easily draw unwanted attention.
I have a question.
Sure.
How close to where we're being dropped off was Mercy in session 0?
Just to the west of the southern portion of the Plateau of Glass, near the Field of Ruins, so not too far off.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, you guys would have known where. That's where you would have seen the vision of Vecna and all that stuff too. Both of those events kind of happened in the same place. Lustriel says, where you're going and what you're doing is extremely dangerous. I have to emphasize this because you are putting yourselves at great risk for the greater good. And it's quite possible that you all could perish in the Mournlands. Much like Morning Canaan, once you enter, it is very likely that we will no longer be able to contact you. We will return in 5 days to see if you've reemerged. And if you are still stranded, we will do what we can to attempt to recover you, alive or dead. In the meantime, we are going to take a trip to Oreth, Vecna's homeworld, and see if we can learn anything about one of the Rod of Seven Parts being located there. But it is quite possible that here in Eberron, there could be 2 pieces of the rod waiting to be claimed. And that would put us leaps and bounds ahead of Vecna as far as we know. This might be the first step in one of the most important things to tip the scales in our favor against Lord Vecna and his ever-growing minions. Go ahead, Jin.
Where along the glass plateau is this mountain? Just in general area?
So just like you see like how there's kind of a skirted mountain range all around the glass plateau. In the very southern tip, there's like a mountain basin where they think that Mordenkainen would probably be by now.
Okay.
A basin in the mountain range, kind of like this Mount Ironrot picture here. Just in the very southern tip, this valley, this basin valley in the mountain range at the very southern tip.
Oh, I see it. Thanks. There is a general thing. There is there's a cave in a cliffside overlooking the ocean that should be large enough for Mercy's ship, or Kraken Bay. It will still have a bit of a journey on foot, but we should be able to land in that cave without being seen.
Yeah, I don't think Mercy would want us all to go down there without some means of getting off in a hurry if we needed to.
Yeah. Illustrial is not suggesting that you leave the ship here, but she is warning that flying in the Mornlands will increase the level of danger, but a ship will elevate the chances of attracting attention to yourselves. There are pirates and plunderers and relic hunters and all sorts of other vermin in the Mornlands that are up to no good.
These two are powerful magic users, but Mercy's still going to make sure they have essentially the emergency frequency for the ship, just for future use if need be.
Yeah, sure. Illustrial says, well, give you Mistress' blessing for this endeavor, and make sure to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We know there have been tensions among your group since you arrived on the ship. We hope that you can put all of that aside and be diligent about making sure that you all get out of the Mornlands alive. We don't want to lose the war against Vecna before it's begun. Do any of you have any questions or anything for Illustrial and Tasha?
I think for Lilith, she'll kind of pull Tasha aside and she'll say, if we survive this trip, you said you know my mother. Is there a way I could meet her?
Tasha says, I don't see why a discreet meeting between the two of you could not be arranged. The politics of the Feywild are complicated, and there are many reasons why you may not be accepted into the summer courts, but certain if Queen of the Feywild knew of your continued existence, she would be exuberant to meet you.
Well, I can't say that I would feel like I belong there, but I would love to meet her.
I'll make the arrangements when we're all not so busy.
I appreciate it, Tasha.
She says, don't forget, you're servant of the Raven Queen now. Keep your eyes and ears open for anything you see in the Mournlands that you think might be important.
She kind of nod her head and then start following the others out.
I guess the last thing I could say is that, you know, Tasha would have like a fairly reasonable stash of magical stuff if you guys wanted to ask for anything that you think might help you in the Mournlands. She might be able to accommodate you. If you wanted any potions or even magical equipment.
Yeah, I mean, if
I
we're trying
don't
to
know
be,
about everyone. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say if we're trying to be sneaky, a couple of scrolls of pass without trace would be nice.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yep.
Lilith could use some more bolts.
Oh, okay.
Mercy has no healing potions.
I don't think any of us do we?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Staff of
as
healing would be nice if that's the thing.
a what of healing?
Staff of healing.
Staff of healing. Let's see.
Not for me.
Little parting gift
I'm
for
not
brother.
Staff of healing. Rare. Yeah. While you guys are getting the ship together, any more requests?
Maybe a
Um,
potion
Go ahead.
Potion of what?
haste, if possible.
Oh, that's a good one.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Other than some potions, I don't even know what Mercy would ask for. She's a little probably distracted.
A scroll of teleport would be pretty fantastic.
Just getting a whole horde right now.
Just so I don't have to spend a 7th level slot on it.
Lep, do you still carry your mother staff?
Yes. Even if it's weird, fucked up state, he always has it with him. It's his one little secret from Lathander.
What? Pass without trace, potion of haste, healing potions, scroll of teleport, staff of healing. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah,
Bolts.
Scroll of teleport.
yeah, I got that on there.
Yeah, I think that's all he would ask for. That scroll of teleport.
Okay. Tasha rummages around in her cargo bay, and as you guys are sort of getting the ship shored up for departure, Tasha comes with a satchel with all of your requests. She musters together everything you asked for. And then, what? You guys are level 14, right?
Yep.
4, 8, 12. So I think, what is your guys' proficiency bonus right now? 4?
5.
Oh, is it 5? Okay, so yeah, you guys can be attuned to 5 magic items.
Ooh.
Did anyone attune to either of the guns that you got?
I think I was going to take the sniper
I didn't put it
rifle.
on there, but they both require attunement. They're powerful enough.
Sure. I mean, it'll be a little while since we can sell the gun, so I might as well attune to it. The pistol.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm taking Final Journey.
Are you gonna attune to it too?
Yeah.
Those were kind of fun to make. It's gonna be fun to make some Eberron, more Eberron magic items.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the absolute chaos of that sniper rifle.
Well, you know, the thing you got to think of now. I mean, like, it's so funny that it's like, when I post them, and the first questions are like, here are all the ways I can abuse this, and then it's like, oh, I didn't really think of those, but it's fine because now I can have NPCs with those kinds of items and abuse them in the same way. The arcane repeater,
I'm looking.
or the arcane combustor, Jin, I think you know would be a fairly common weapon used among arcane users. So I think you know that that's like something that many mages carried in the or in previous seer.
Yeah, the all the fancy modern.
Yeah, and
people using
every
weapons.
kind of arcane user, their arcane combustor was kind of attuned, you know, more to them. So some of the like levels, some of the charge levels where it puts out different spells, you know, there might be ones that have different ones that come out or whatever.
Yeah, it's a stronger weapon than Penumbra, but Penumbra is a more elegant weapon from a more civilized age.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you know, like the arcane combustor, it has to have fuel. You know, it's not something you can just fire at will, too. You know.
Yep.
I don't know if
yeah.
you can probably say if you want that, you know, in the time where you've been casting spells and stuff on the ship, that you could have charged it fully to 9 at this point. You know, anytime an arcane spell is cast, the arcane combustor absorbs some of that magic as its fuel.
Not gonna lie, I'm not writing the macros for that. That's just my character sheet is complicated enough as it is.
Well, you just gotta keep track of like how many charges the gun currently has to see how you can fire it. You know, then you can just manually roll the dice for whatever it is in the chat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just keep track of the charges, and you know, say I'm firing it with 9. And resolve it that way, so it's less complicated.
Yes, Mavathor, I will happily take your Ring of Spell Storing.
You know,
And,
other
any
than
spell with
Avernus,
it?
and just never used it.
I guess the only other thing I would say, if you wanted to, while you were on the ship, Lep, you could have probably made some you know, what are they called? The you guys are probably like fully blown out of these for a while. The random magical potions. You probably could have done some experimenting in Tasha's Cauldron and got a bunch of random magical potions if you wanted to.
Yes, they're all different tea flavors.
I'll give you 10. I'll give you 10 of those.
Okay, 10. That's awesome.
I still have 5 left over because I just never used mine.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I love I love rolling those up with ChatGPT.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe we've got. You said we have 5 slots. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4.
5 is the max, so you'll max out at 5. But now you can attune to as many magical items as your proficiency bonus up to 5. Yeah. You'll max out at 5.
Okay. Ion stones are attunement or no? I think they are. Checking. Yeah, attunement. Okay. Yeah, you know what? We'll have some fun with the gun while it's there, and we'll keep the ring
Nice.
for later.
Cool.
I'm gonna divvy this stuff up.
Mm,
Each of us can get a potion of healing, but someone would get 2.
probably Jin, because I think Jin's the only one who can't heal.
Yeah.
Sure. I will take a potion of healing. I don't really need 2. I don't generally get hit that often.
Okay, that's true too.
Which is why I think you should have the scroll of teleport.
Oh no,
But
yeah.
I will take the scroll of teleport, though. Teleport, potion of healing.
Who wants haste?
I do. I very much do. I think you want me to have haste.
Yeah.
Who wants the staff?
I would love it.
Would have to be Leper Mavathor. That requires a cleric to use it.
I believe Manathor is completely full up on attunement slots currently.
Damn, look at Mavathor.
Yeah.
All right, Lepus.
Thank
And
you.
what's
All
left?
yours.
Three pass without a trace.
I'll take those.
Okay. Who got the extra potion? Was it Jin?
No.
What's
I think
the
it's
fifth?
Womit.
What's the fifth thing you're attuned to, Mavathor? Your crown, hand, heart, shield, and what's the fifth one?
The half plate +2 that
Oh.
has a bunch of advantages on it,
Oh,
like
okay.
force resistance and devil sight.
Things I never made item cards for. Maybe I'll have to do. Maybe I'll have to do that. I'll have to ask you guys for some of the stuff you have without item cards, and I'll throw some cards in there.
Question: if your proficiency bonus is higher than 5, does that mean your attunement increases with
No,
that?
you'll max out at 5.
Okay.
And maybe that'll change in the future. We'll see how it goes.
Because my
Does
now my
anyone-
proficiency bonus is 6, because of Ion Stone.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Does anyone mind if I take the extra potion since I tend to be more melee?
Oh,
Go for
go
it.
for it.
That's cool.
Okay. So I think that's everything divvied, right?
Mhm.
I think so.
Well, you guys, Illustrial said, or well, you guys can see you're getting close, sort of finding a window or a, out of Tasha's fortress, you can see off in the distance, you know, you've entered, Eberron space, and off in the distance you can kind of see this big blue planet, with a massive ring of, rock encircling it, kind of like Saturn's ring of hunks of stone. As you approach Eberron, and as you get closer and closer to the surface, those of you who are from here probably start to feel the. Well, you feel however you feel about returning to your homeworld once again. It's been a bit longer for you, Jin. How do you feel about being back on Eberron after your years away?
It is good to be home. He is not excited about their journey today. Not in the slightest.
Sure. Outside of
It doesn't. It doesn't show behind his mask, but no, he is not happy to be where we're going.
Outside of the Mournlands, what's like a favorite place on Eberron that you're have more happy feelings about visiting once again?
That cabin we went to, or that the Jinn dragged everyone to in the Silver Wood by the Star Peak. He also has a sort of bachelor pad on the outskirts of Sharn, and another one by where the stronghold of House Thrash is.
The benefits of profiteering from war.
It's a living.
It's 100.
Mercy, how about you? How are you feeling? It's been less time for you.
Yeah, I think we discussed it's been like 3 weeks.
Yep, about right around there, between 3 and 4.
Yep. She's not really quite sure how she's feeling. Honestly, there's just a lot, and she can't pinpoint any one emotion other than when they have the map up, she might look at the path that was traced out for them and see if she can pinpoint how close it was to where everything happened. Just to try and occupy her mind.
Yeah, I mean, you gauge, like, kind of looking at it, this cave that Jin's talking about is on the western side of the mountains, where you can kind of hide the ship, and you guys will have to pass through some tunnels that go through into the valley of the mountains themselves. And what's up?
While we are flying there, Jin will ritual cast divination to check to make sure that we can land and exit the cave without encountering too much danger.
Oh, sure, yeah. Roll it.
He pulls out a.
We touched down.
Judging from the maps, the best available maps and all that stuff, Mercy, you would know that maybe just to the west of where you guys are planning to land your ship is where you had encountered those the obelisk and the dead, and where your pack still the remnants of your pack still remain. Maybe about 10 miles west of those mountains, near the Field of Ruins.
Yay. After they touch down in the cave, she would probably ask everyone for a moment whenever they get there.
Does Mercy have any... I guess your home is kind of your ship, huh? Do you have like any places that are more like any solid roots in Eberron?
Not really. She probably has a few friends in different places. I don't know if you saw my one message about something that she could do. I think I sent it over the weekend.
Let me double check. I did read them, but maybe you can just remind me of which one you were talking about.
About the orphanages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly something you could do. When you guys are done with this mission and you head to, a city or something.
Yeah, I just think that she might have one or two that she kind of will contribute to or visit when she can.
Is there any particular part? Like, do you have I mean, in the Shadow Marches, you've spent a lot of time coming to and from Zarakash, where House Thrask lies, and the 50% of the population there is like orcs and goblins.
Mhm.
The other majority is human. Do you have any particular fondness for a particular type of orphans, or?
Probably anyone particularly displaced by the Church of Silver Flame.
Oh, so you'd be kind of more interested in areas around Brain, if I'm right? Brain or Breland? I can't remember which one.
I think Breland, however you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to.
That or really.
I've been trying to really dig into the Eberron areas, but man, it's so much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that and maybe one or two that just tend to take in kids who are like less wanted, that people kind of tend to look down upon because of their race.
I think
I don't know what everyone's like.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily that there are necessarily like any racial tensions in Eberron more than group tensions. Tensions between the 5 nations and the houses are more prevalent than like any racial discrimination, with an exception of the Warforged and the Shifters. They are typically viewed a bit differently than the native races to Eberron. And in certain places, people do view them with distrust.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the main one she would visit would probably lean more towards Orphans of the Silver Flame.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that is something.
Just as a
I imagine you
grudge.
guys are going to spend a good chunk of time in Eberlin or Eberron, or at least come back more than once. So there will certainly be time to get into more personal matters like that after your dangerous mission in the Mournlands. But Illustrial, as you guys are boarding the ship to disembark from Tasha's fortress and fly down through the asteroid fields that ring around Eberron, down towards the Mournlands, she just one more time kind of looks each of you very sternly in the eyes, and she says, remember to look out for each other. And the two of them, the mouth of the tree opens, and as you guys kind of hover above the landscape of Eberron below, you can see up as you guys kind of pass down into like the atmosphere above the Mournlands, you can just see this massive swath of land in the near the center of the continent that is just this block of gray mist that just blacks out this whole chunk of land that goes from the southern waters 3/4 of the way across the center of the continent, and just really stands out. There are the plains and deserts to the east of the Mournlands, and the greener forests and hills and mountain ranges to the west of it, and there's just this vast swath of graying mist that just covers this huge chunk of the land as you drop lower and lower. And Illustrial, one final time, gives you Mistra's blessing and wishes you luck on your mission as you guys board your vessel Mercy and make your way down to the surfaces of Eberron.
And softly hums a mournful tune, activating Songmaster's ability to cast mage armor.
Lub does ask if anyone wants any food, aka Hero's Feast.
I don't think anyone's going to say no to Hero's Feast.
Yeah, then I guess on the way down he'll cast it in. We got food.
Food.
What all does Hero's Feast do again?
Temp HP and
Features cheat about
advantage
his
on
use
wisdom
and opponents.
saves.
They're immune to
Well-
poison and being frightened. They make all wisdom saving throws at advantage. Its hit point maximum is increased by 2d10 and it gains the same number of hit points. And it lasts for 24 hours. Let me just put it on the thing.
Yeah, how much extra HP do we get from this?
2d10. I can just roll it. Well, that's not a whole lot.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
everyday
better than
helps.
nothing.
Immune to fear and poison.
Okie dokie.
You guys disembark above the Mournlands in your ship Mercy, and you take a course towards the Mournlands. Probably take you
Before they-
about an hour to reach the borders of the mists.
Before they leave the cave, Mercy would want to speak to everyone briefly.
Yeah, you could do it on the ship even before you land.
He's just gonna look around at everyone. If I might ask a personal request. My family died not far from here. If we have the time, I would like to collect something to bury them. If that is
course.
agreeable.
Yeah. I could give them funeral rites. I don't know how to do it, but I could try.
As long as we are quick about it. I would
We
not do
can
to
do it
linger
on the
here
way
as
back.
long as would not do to linger here. We want to be here as little as possible.
Well, you kind of think of some of the things that Alestriel said to you, Mercy, kind of ringing in your head now, and she'd try to make it clear that this is a mission you might not make it out of. The dangers in the Mournlands are so high. You might think that it's up to you, but you might think that that's if you don't make it out of here, if you don't make it out of there, then maybe it's something you would want to do beforehand to at least honor them the way you would wish to.
As much as she wants to do that, the concerns for the living outweigh the concerns for the dead. So that
Okay.
would be more of a, if they have time before they leave or something. There's no
We
sense
would-
adding more bodies to this place.
It would be better to do that first, Jin would say. But if it is to be done at all.
You said it's only about 10 miles from where we are? Ish.
Yeah, you could you'd have to pass over it even to before you hit the cave. So you know you could land there or nearby before you tuck the ship away in the caves a little further to the east of the spot where you had the encounter with your pack.
Yeah, if everyone would be okay with her doing that real quick, she would really like to.
Yeah.
By all means. I will saying this now. Vin has a very focused eye on their surroundings. Every nook and cranny, anywhere someone could hide, Jin is actively spending most of his focus to make sure that they are not ambushed or followed.
Okay. Give me a sec here. I'm trying to...
Oh, she would mention too that an advantage of also letting her do this is they can see where the obelisk was and check out the situation there.
Okay.
Because this was the one that Mavathor saw when they first returned to Avernus as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just one sec. Trying to... Alright, it's not important. Okay. Do you want to land kind of like in the same area, Mercy? Or do you want to land a little off and you guys make your way on foot?
If they land in about the same area, she can retrace the steps exactly. Because they were running as they were being attacked, so some of the bodies might be a little more scattered.
Okay. How low do you fly in the... Like, what elevation do you... When you enter the Mournlands, how low do you go to the ground?
That is a good question. They were warned against flying here.
Jin would instruct you to fly under 200 feet
Mm-hmm.
and as close to the ground as you can.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you give me a perception or survival check, Mercy?
Okay. They're both the same.
As you guys pass through the mist into the Mournlands, the fog is quite thick. You can't see too far, even if you use the lights of your ship out in front of you. You know, it's the light kind of is hindered by the fog. But flying as low as you are, heading towards the southern tip of the mountains, off to the left of your ship, you do actually see a familiar sight. You spot a large crater in the ground, about 40 feet in diameter. But it is not entirely the same as you last laid eyes on it. The massive, dark obelisk that was protruding out from the excavation is no longer there. You bring the ship down, and you guys disembark, and there's a fairly thick forest around this area. The mists of the Mournlands hang in the trees. but you do find a sort of a weathered path that kind of cuts through some of the trees that leads up towards the excavation site where you had your last harrowing experience here in the Moorlands. You guys kind of said you are all, I mean, Jin especially, but I imagine you guys are all keeping your eyes out. You guys can all give me like a group perception check if you'd like as well, now that you're out of the ship and on foot in the Moorlands.
Before we completely exit the ship, Lilith's gonna walk up to Mavathor and like put a platinum ring in his hand, and she's gonna touch his shoulder and cast Warding Bond. She's gonna turn to him. She's gonna say, Avernus needs you more than Barovia needs me. I saw you go down once. You're not going down again.
Just nod and kind of just like we should probably be as quiet as possible.
She winks and then walks away.
We kind of shoot
Also
a look at
noticing-
Lep. Like,
She nods.
I'm also noticing I have an ability that means we aren't affected by difficult terrain.
The terrain's not necessarily difficult here for the most part.
Yeah.
When we enter the mists, Jin will activate the ship's cloaking field by casting invisibility into the Spelljammer helm.
Ah, nice.
You just push Mavathor
if
out of the
anyone
way.
has it, if anyone has it on hand, can somebody post the link to that supplement?
As a
for
matter
me?
of fact, I do.
I don't have it up right now.
I only
I'll
copied
be-
it on my
It
stuff.
probably won't become needed, but
I got it. You want it in
Yeah, I
the
have
rules
it.
section? There you go.
nice. Thanks.
Happy to help.
Yeah. I had done a cheat sheet to make it simple for everyone too.
Thank
You wanted a group perception, right?
Yeah, you guys can give me a perception check.
Okay.
Left
That
is really
hurts.
pulling his weight here.
His eyes are just bulging out of his head.
Yeah.
There is this very uneasy feeling about traveling in the Moorlands. It's like the atmosphere in the Moorlands is heavier. It's not hot. It's not like the temperature's not hot, but for some reason it still breathing feels like it's like 100% humidity. Like the air is just heavy. You almost feel like every time you draw a breath, like it feels like you're blowing air out rather than breathing it in. As you guys wind around this path through the trees with the mists all kind of coalescing among the trunks and in the canopy of the forest around you, you kind of curve around the path, and up ahead, maybe 60 or 70 feet, you can make out this big excavation site. A massive hole the earth has been all upturned, and there's this massive hole. And you can see something on the surface. There's like this faint white glow. Something inside of the excavation mound is flickering with this like faint light. Mercy scattered across the path, and even at the edges of the trees, one by one you spot the mangled corpses of your pack, I'll move you guys onto the map here. I was trying to find some bodies to throw down, but I couldn't find anything good in the moment. But, trickled around where you saw them kind of overcome by the hungering soldiers that kind of came shuffling up out of the pit. You see the corpses still thrashed about in various uncomfortable looking positions around the area.
Going to She's trying to not show a whole lot, but her hands shake a little bit. And she's going to go up to each one. And she's actually going to remove both canines from each corpse.
Yeah, as you do that one by one, what are the rest of you guys doing? Give me a well, perception or medicine check, I guess. Mercy.
Okay.
As you go through one by one, removing the canines from each of your previous family, you notice that it's not just battle wounds that they have, but each one of their bodies has been chewed on by creatures of varying sizes. Some of the bite wounds, every one of them has like a single bite wound that looks more like it was made by something of a human-sized mouth. But a couple of them seem like their corpses have been more mangled by something much larger.
Going to be like a white hot anger that shoots through her. But there's nothing she can do for them now. You will notice that she takes the left and right canines and puts them in separate bags and just kind of attaches them to her belt in her little pouch.
Are any of the rest of you doing anything while Mercy's collecting the canines of her pack?
Yeah, Jin will sort of step into the nearest shadowed area he can find, stealth, and then continue keeping watch.
Okay.
Lilith's going to send Maggie out to like scope the perimeter.
Are you like looking through Maggie's eyes?
Yeah.
Give me a perception check for Maggie.
Okay. Let me pull it up real quick. That's a 13.
And as you step into the shadows, Jin, give me another perception check as well. 13 and 15?
Yep. He's a little on edge today.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you step into the shadows and, usually you probably feel a comfort in the shadows, but with the mists and everything, it and the uneasy just feeling that's in the air as you try and like look out through the mist between the trees, it's very hard to really see anything too far beyond 5 or 10 feet in front of you. As Maggie flies around above you and kind of circles, it's kind of the same thing. You just are see this heavily misted treetops, and one thing that Maggie does spot though is that hovering somewhere hovering in the little excavation pit, there is like some sort of small globe hovering in the center of it, a little globe of white energy down in the bottom of the pit.
Lilith is gonna use her new ability, shadow essence, to get advantage on stealth and stealth towards it in the shadows. See if she can't get a closer look. Oh, I have a heavy armor on. I guess it cancels out, so it'd be 16.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way to the edge of the pit. There are sort of these sloped embankments that go down as all the earth has been pulled off up to the side, so it kind of makes this 45-degree-ish angled incline down into the bottom, and you see that there's like a big square imprint at the bottom of the object that used to be buried here. It's been kind of ripped out of the earth, and sort of in the center near the bottom there's this little silvery white globe that's just kind of hovering a few feet off the ground. And the pit's about 60 feet deep at its center.
Okay.
It's not like walls you'd have to climb. It's like slopes that you could kind of walk down.
I think she's gonna message everyone what she finds.
At that message, I guess I would go take a look, sort of make my way, still trying to keep mostly out of sight, but failing.
Once Mercy's done with her thing, she'll move over too and cast a spell that might actually be useful for once. Once she's within range of the little glowing thing.
Interesting.
I read it as essentially like a reflavored detect magic.
Basically.
Yeah, as you guys kind of close in on the edges of the pit, using your Esper sense, Mercy, you would know that this is the effect of a clairvoyance spell.
Crap.
There are a few chunks of what look like black stone, but most of it probably just like debris. Nothing that looks like it has any symbols on it or anything. And when Mercy relates what the little floating sphere is down there, and the chill runs down your spine, Jin, you all actually hear like the snapping of a twig from behind you, and you guys all turn, and you can see this massive malformed bear. It has you can't quite tell if they're tentacles or spines growing out of its body. There are these pustules where the flesh looks like it's been warped and churned in a grinder down its back. There are these glowing pustules of green and red, and the creature, its eyes are glowing green, and it almost looks like it's got little billows of dark smoke that are coming off of its back.
Yep. The second Mercy says clairvoyance. Jin dispels it.
Sure. Yeah, you dispel the little globe.
Immediately.
Sort of dissipates. And the bear rears up on its hind legs and lets out this horrible shriek. It's not a roar, it's like this shrieking sound. And as it comes down, it claws the earth below it, and it just charges you guys. Go ahead and roll initiative.
I would suggest we return to the ship. This bear just revealed our location to the rest of the valley.
Real quick, could I try and scoop up a couple of those little pieces of the obelisk?
Yeah, did you actually go down into the bottom of the pit?
She had to go down far enough for 30 feet for the Esper sense.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you're halfway down. So, yeah, there's some chunks, like, sticking out of the dirt, little pieces of what was once the obelisk, that fragmented off during the excavation, you know?
Yeah. I really wish my favorite enemy gave me combat bonuses.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably try and pick up a copy of 6E soon and flip through the book. I wonder if they changed anything like that for the Ranger. Maybe it's something we can talk about, just homebrewing a little bit for you. I think it's kind of dumb that it doesn't give you any bonuses.
Yeah, let's see. It gives me perception and survival bonuses, intelligence for lore and biology, deception, intimidation, stealth. All that kind of fun stuff, but it's all out of combat.
Oh, and you know what? I guess actually before combat officially begins, why don't we just take our mid-session 5 right here? We're pretty close.
Good time for a beer.